Hey, this is Nat Williamson. It is February 9th, 2026, about 2:30, okay? I'm just doing it for documentary sake. I've come on here to tell the story about Tommy and Sabrina Richardson, and how I came to seeing the Grim Reaper, aka the Spirit of Death, okay? Now, it starts with church. We were at church. Me and Clayton were in charge of a Bible study. They asked us to run it. We did. We had I don't know, 5 couples, some adults. Not a lot of people. And then this one time, after we had to go because it was time for church. And so everybody goes to the bathroom or whatever and gets in the church. And Sabrina stops me to talk to me. She wanted to talk to me. And I guess I just listened because I never said anything. And I don't even know what she said. Because you know how ladies, when they get together, sometimes, especially if they're close, they'll be up close to them, so nobody hears their conversation, okay? So I'm like this with her, okay? And I don't see her eyes. I said, well, this looks weird. I'm looking, and then I see him. The Grim Reaper, I saw him. He was in her. I don't know how it happened, but God let me see it. And I could see him from here up, okay? And I knew he was the Grim Reaper because he was dark. I say he's darker than this. He's not. He's lighter than this. I've misspoke before. He's lighter than this, but it was this kind of color, okay? And I could see his face. And they don't need to talk with their mouth. It's telepathy. Right away he tells me, I know who you are, and I hate you. And but he put off such a powerful vibe. It was very powerful. And it scared me to death. I couldn't move because I was afraid. I was in Sabrina's face and I was afraid to move. So I just stood there, and then I don't know why we stopped. I guess she was through saying whatever. And then as soon as we part, because I didn't even think about that part. How did it end? I guess she ended the conversation, because I know I didn't say a darn thing because I was too busy looking at that dude. Oh my God, Man, I'll never forget it all the days of my life. He's the Grim Reaper. You know him as the Spirit of Death. He's not a skeleton. He's a man. And he's lighter than this, but he's that kind of color, okay? And he's the one that God put in charge as the gatekeeper to hell, okay? So, anyways, okay, so about a week later, or even before that, whatever, we got a call. It obviously was a week later, and from the church, and saying, Sabrina's dead. Go see what you can do for her, because we were the leaders of our little group. So of course Clayton's got a job. He's got his own business. So of course I go right away. It's before school lets out. I remember that, like a good couple hours, and so I go up there to see what I can do. And I go in there and I walk up to her. I see she's on the ground. She's stiff, cold and stiff, kind of like whatever. And so I grabbed her and I said, Sabrina, what did you do? And she was dead. Anyways, off to the side by the bed was this big gallon-plus Ziplocs. They make them. I'd never seen them, but I've seen they make them. And it was filled with apothecary bottles of stuff. I didn't look. And God told me right then and there, get those drugs out of here. Well, I didn't, because they weren't my drugs. I don't think he cared about that. He gave me a directive and I disobeyed. And I'm very sorry for that, Father. And come to find out, one of her sons from a previous relationship got a hold of those, as far as I know, and he totaled a car and he died. But that was the thing about Sabrina. What I didn't know is, well, let me just keep on track with the notes. So I go to the house and I see what I could do. The sheriff finally showed up. And so I go into the kitchen, see what I could do. She had her separate dishes there, so I started cleaning her kitchen. And in her laundry room, which was right across from the kitchen, I saw they were in a single double wide. They were very poor, but you couldn't tell they were poor. They were very precious people. But anyways, I saw she was trying to do laundry. She had a gathering of laundry, so I went ahead and took a trash bag and gathered every piece of laundry everywhere and put it in my vehicle. And I told Tommy, I'll be back tomorrow and bring you your clean clothes. And he was out of it. He was just out of it. And so that's how I spent my evening. I took them. I told Clayton what I was doing, and I took them. And I went to the laundromat, and I stayed there till they were done. And the next day, I took them up to them so they'd have their clean clothes. All right, and so, okay, so whenever the funeral happened, we went. I walked up to Tommy. He was in the very front row because the place was packed. I walked up to Tommy, and I told him I was there. I was sorry that I was there. Let him know I was there. And then, but the thing that struck me as weird was their kids, their two kids. They have a son and a daughter. They weren't shedding a tear. They weren't unhappy or anything. You couldn't see. You couldn't tell. They weren't grieving. And even the little girl, she was in the choir and she had a lead song that she was singing and stuff like that. And then, I don't know when I found out, but Tommy told me this. He said, well, maybe I'll just save that part because I think it's down the road. So time passed away. Didn't see Tommy. I don't know, life goes on. I did what I could, and then I left. And I don't think we went to that church for very long, much after that. But anyways, okay, so one day I need to go to the laundromat because I got some blankets to wash. And I pulled next to this red vehicle. And this dude's standing there. And I didn't think nothing of it. I get out and he approaches me. He says, hey, I know you. And I'm looking. I said, well, you kind of look like this guy I knew. His name was Tommy Richardson. Yeah, that's me. He looked different. So what had happened to him is he went through a stroke. And he hospitalized and all this stuff. They didn't think he was going to make it. And because they thought he was going to die, the kids took out all his money and spent it all. They didn't have nothing left. They spent it. They had a party, I guess. I don't know. They spent all his money. Anything he had, it was gone. So that's what he told me when I parked and we got to talking. He told me about that. And he said that Sabrina had been getting high, doing all these drugs and getting in behind the wheel and taking off. She had totaled 2 vehicles up to that point, working on the third before she could, destroy the third vehicle. That's when she died. So, and he told me all this stuff. He told me that's why. So then I figured, okay, that's why she was making their life a living hell, because she was listening to that guy, the Grim Reaper. She was listening to the spirit of death. That's his deal. He talks into your ear. You think it's your thoughts. You're not. Okay? It's not. If they are negative thoughts, they're not your thoughts. Unless it's your flesh and your butt hurt, whatever. But typically, if you got bad thoughts, they're not yours. It's him trying to get you to mess up your life, to say something, do something to mess up your life. And with her, he succeeded. She's dead. And Tommy finally passed. He had liver cancer. That's why he had strong drugs. He had these patches. And he told me that one time she put a patch on And she had to take it off almost right away because it was that strong. So, yeah, who knows? Who knows what she did? Well, I know it was drugs. It was an overdose. And let's see what else he said. Oh, okay. Yeah, I told him, I said, look, let's go inside to the laundromat because he had his daughter there. And so I could tell you what I saw. And I told him what I saw. And that's when he told me. He goes, you know, I was worried if she wasn't going to make it to heaven because of what she was doing. He said, but I saw her. One day I saw her. I was in my bedroom. I'm sure he was on his drugs. And that's usually when you can, it kind of opens like a portal, you know, sort of. You'll be able to see, maybe. He did. He saw her. And she was walking around him. And he said hello to her. And I said, yeah. And then, whatever. But anyway, so she's in heaven. They're both in heaven, I am sure, because they were both strong believers. It's just because she was doing drugs and all these things, that's when you open up your soul for him to enter into you and wreak havoc, okay? So I just wanted to be sure that I recorded this story so you would know. If you're atheist, you don't believe, or you're agnostic, whatever it is. Or maybe you're a Christian, but like me, I just believed because in the beginning, because I wanted to cover myself. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to go to hell or was doing wrong. And I obviously chose right because God let me see the spirit of death, the Grim Reaper. He's for real. And so a lot of good people are going to hell because they refuse to say, Jesus be my Savior. It's just 4 words. It's all 4 words to keep you from that chasm, that crevasse from hell to heaven, okay? You don't have to go to hell. It's not a party, because I saw that guy. He's not fun. He's scary AF. Scary AF. That's not even strong enough to describe this man. You don't want to see him, because that's what he brings out of us. Total horror and fear, okay? That's what he brings out of us. And so if you die, yeah, that'll be your eternity. So I suggest you don't. It's just 4 words. Just do it, okay? So I just wanted to make sure this is a recording and it will never get taken down, I hope. I hope it reaches people. I'm going to share it on other pages of mine in hopes that I'll reach somebody, okay? And you can feel free to share it if you want. All right, I appreciate you. All right. I love you guys.